Hi guys, welcome back to Creatively Crafted Life. My name is Melanie and today is the last week in Finish It February. Can you believe how fast that has gone? This week I thought what I would focus on is trying to use up some of my base pages. These are just the ones that no longer fit in the bin. So I thought I would take a couple different strategies to show you how you can use base pages, or at least how I use base pages and the strategies I take to use them up. So the first strategy we're going to do is where I have photos already printed and I just want to get them scrapbooked. So these have been printed for quite a while and they've been sitting around waiting to be scrapbooked. And so I have some pictures of my nieces. I've got this one here where my niece is wearing a very bright pink t-shirt, so something I want to keep in mind when I'm looking through pages. I have this one here of my niece wearing a sleeper with some really soft pink colors, and she's quite fair as well, so I'm thinking maybe lean more towards the softer colors in here if I can find them. And then the last one is a picture of another niece and I've got 3 of them, so I need to keep in mind that the layout has to be enough to accommodate 3 pictures. Of course I can always choose to do less on a layout, but that's kind of what I'm thinking of. Now I am just going to take a stack and I'm going to flip through these and we'll talk about which ones will work or won't work, that kind of thing. In my mind, or what I'm going to try and represent here, is I will have my photos front and center to see if anything, you know, clicks or triggers. So here's one of the strategies I try and use. I'm not going to say I always do this, but if I come across something that I think is going to work and I feel it's really good, I stop looking. With always the caveat that if I come across something else further down that works even better, I will switch it out, but I don't get disheartened by that. If I think I come across something that I think could work, I'll pull it out and pull it aside, but keep looking. And if I really can't find something, then I'll get another stack. But I'm hoping that in this big stack, we should find at least three base pages that will work with these 3 photos. They're not very thematic, so it should work. It should work. So let's flip through these and see where we end up. So I'm not thinking this one is the right vibe. This feels a little bit old for the photos, so I'm not thinking that one is going to work. I don't really like this color scheme with any of them. What do we have next? Oh, we have a 2-page layout, so that's not going to work because I don't have enough photos for that. Now I have this one. It is intended for a larger photo, and the photo is horizontal, but this could work. You can see that could work, but I'm not loving it. So it's a possibility not loving it, so I'm going to put this one aside. This one's a bit thematic. It's got some fish in the background, so not really what I would like here. This one has some soft colors, but not the right colors. This is really pinky, and this is more blue and green, so I don't think that's going to work. This kind of has the look of a travel page, so not that one. Now this is very pink, as is this, and color-wise I could probably get away with it, but this feels very old compared to these photos, so not the vibe that I'm going for. This one also feels old. What do we got here? I think this is a 2-page spread, so not that one. This is way too many photos, and I think, no, this one isn't a 2-page spread. But again, way too many photos. Oh, we've got some Paige Evans classes. This was a 2-page spread as well. It was intended to go like that. And way too many photos. Now this one is cute. I could do one of these with this. That would work okay-ish. I could also probably do one of these, but I'm not loving it. It's really only for one 3x4, and I really would like to use all the photos. Now this, I think, I like it with this photo. I think I like that. I think I like that a lot, and so I'm going to call this one done. So what that means is the one that I had put aside, let me just show you the difference between the two. So this would be that one, and this would be this one. I'm thinking probably something like that. I just think this is a little bit more younger than this one. Okay, so we've got one picked. Let's keep looking. Could we use this one here with the pretty girl? We definitely could. But again, I think I want to find something that uses both photos. This is more of a spring layout. This is cute. It's really designed for a larger photo. Could we like maybe stack these? Possibly. I like the colors in her sleeper with this. So this is definitely a possibility. So I'm going to put this one aside. I'm not sure that it's perfect, but it's definitely a possibility. Not for that one. I think this was a 2-page spread. Yeah, not that one either. These were a lot of classes, and I think they just have way too many photo opportunities. This one definitely has a more of a vintage look to it. Oh, and then we get some Christmas ones. I probably should go through these base pages and sort them into some sort of categories. Might help with the search, but it is kind of fun to look through them. This one's kind of fun. I could possibly use this one with it, although Yay doesn't really fit the theme. It was my mom's birthday, not Deanna's birthday, so I think we're just going to put that one aside. This is, I think this was from Scrapbook Generations kit. It's got the bee, oh, it goes this way. It's got the bee theme. Again, that's a 2-page spread. Oh, this is kind of like a travel 2-page spread. What do we got here? This is another kind of beach themed one. Yeah. Not for these. Oh, this is a real Americana summer. These were all, I think, creative, no, close to my heart layouts. Again, way too many photos. Now, if I wasn't demoing this for you guys or videoing it, I probably would be flipping through these much faster, but it is kind of fun to see what I've got in my stack, I think. So, okay, so that's another 2-page. Oh, you guys, at the rate I'm going, I may have to pull out another stack. Again, another 2-page. This is a travel themed. Oh, do you guys remember me doing this one? This was one of my scrap? No, I think it was one of my SCT kits. So we could do something like that. That's kind of cute. What about this one? That's cute too. But is it perfect? I don't know. So let's put that on the side. Oh, I think this one might be perfect. Yeah, I think I like this one a little bit better. It's got that softness I was looking for. This one has some softness too, but it's got a lot of green and not really any pink in it, whereas her outfit is primarily pink. So I think this is a better fit, and I do really like this, so I'm going to call this one done. Okay, so I've got this one still floating around with the possibility of using these. So I'm going to keep going because I'm not 100% sold on it. Let me just flip these over now that I've moved the photos out of the way. These are all 2-page spreads. So move that out. This is a crafting one. This is pretty, but way too old. Wrong colors. This one is not it either. No, no. Could possibly make these work. There's a lot of similar colors, but I actually think I like the other one a little better. The other one is a little bit more kid-like. Definitely not that one. Now we're getting into some Pink Fresh classes. This has definitely got more of a vintage vibe to it. Maybe to document my childhood, not my niece's. Travel. This is a 2-page travel. No, this one, actually, I have a purpose for this one. So I'm going to pull this out because that's going to be the second method that we're going to talk about here in a minute. No, no, no. What about this one? What about this one? Do we like that? This one would definitely work. The question is, though, do I like that better than this one? And you guys, I think I like the cutesiness of this with the photos better than this one. So I am going to go with this. Seeing this has proven that this is the better option. And we're going to call those ones done. Okay, so here is this completed layout. I pulled some panels from my pre-cut panels, one of the ways I store my quote-unquote scraps. I also went to my die cut sticker binders, pulled out a circle in this blue just to bring some of this blue throughout the paper, and cut it in half and just did this kind of symmetrical design. I found these cute little critters in my die cut sticker binders as well, which I thought played off the little critter in her outfit. I had these wood buttons, super cute, and these banners were also in my die cut sticker binder. Now let's talk about these letters. These were the original color of the letters, and this came from a Studio Calico Ali Edwards kit. I think it was called something like the Best Scrapbooking Kit or something like that. Don't quote me on it. But this blue was a little too muted or grayed out, and so I tried applying some sprays on it, which did not work great. The coating on there just didn't allow for the sprays to absorb. So I ended up going over it with some embossing ink and then embossed it with this kind of bluey color. It's a little bit more intense than the blue in the paper and these die cuts, but I think because it's a title, it works okay to make it pop out. And I did not overly embellish because the title's so big. I felt, you know, just minimal embellishments did the trick. I did use some splatters, which is interesting considering the conversation with Nikki that's coming up this week is all about using sprays on your layout. So just bringing it to the forefront allowed me to remember to use them on my page design. I didn't have much to say about this photo. I just added my niece's name and then the date. For this layout, I did exactly what I said as I mounted the 3 photos stacked. I didn't actually like the spacing of it, and my photos were not quite exactly the same size when I laid them down. So the beauty of Doodlebug paper is that it all coordinates. So I found another piece of Doodlebug paper in my stash, and I just trimmed off an inch piece to make that border, added the journaling, and I think that was it. For this layout here, again, I went to my die cut sticker binder, which, by the way, is where that system really shines when you're doing something like this and you have multiple layouts that you're doing at the same time, because as I was going through the binders, as I saw something that I thought would work on one of the other layouts, I kind of, you know, either pulled it out or made mental note of it. But for this one, I really wanted to play off the colors in this background piece, which, by the way, is actually a piece of packaging from a Vicki Boutin collection. You know, not that I have enough paper, don't have enough papers, you know, I got to use packaging. I found these Heidi Swapp teal glitter stars. I only had 2 of them, but it was a pretty close match to the teal in the paper. And then I also found this kind of shaker. I don't know how well it shakes, but it's kind of like a puffy camera. And I think this was either from Amy Tangerine or it might have been a Chamel. I don't know. I'm sure one of you guys knows better than me. But it had that teal and green in it. And then I also found this speech bubble, which was fine. The saying was okay, but I liked it better with the camera mounted on top of the speech bubble, and that is just to pull in kind of that lime green. And then I've got the pink represented, right? And this orangey color in here. So I thought, why not play off the purple for the title? And I just added a little tab up at the top with my niece's name and the date. And then I used some yellow Ranger dots. Now, I was thinking of using the liquid dots on the corrugated piece so that it would, you know, apply better. I thought a flat dot probably wouldn't stick, and it worked. It's just the shapes did get a little misshapen, but that's okay. It is what it is. And I pulled out the enamel dots because of that same conversation where we were talking about different supplies that we use and don't use. So those were the first 3 layouts where I had photos and I found base pages to go with. So that's method 1. Now, method 2 is to start with the base pages and go looking for photos. Okay, so I picked out a stack of layouts that just appealed to me. So one was this one here. It says Sweet Friends on there, and I thought this would be kind of fun to go back and find some photos of friends of mine. So I think that would be pretty easy to find photos, I hope. We'll find out. Just because I've selected all of these doesn't mean they're going to be ones that I do find photos. We'll see, but at least I have a good variety here. I also really like this one with the hearts, and I just need one 3x4 picture. I think this one would be fairly easy. It's pretty generic to find a photo. I really like this page too because it's pretty much done. I literally just need a photo. This camping one I thought might be kind of fun to go into the archives and see if I can find any camping photos from when I was a kid. I've been really feeling called to document some of my childhood, which I haven't done, and so I thought that might be kind of fun. I also really like this Be Happy double page layout. Now the only problem with this one is it has space for a lot of photos. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 photos. So I need to have some sort of photo shoot, which hopefully I can find. It'll probably be of my nephews or nieces, I'm sure. But that's what I'm thinking there. I just really love this particular layout with the pattern papers. I think it's really pretty. This one too should be pretty easy if I can find a photo. Easy to do. And then this goes back to that whole feeling the retro vibe. This really gives me like the 1970s kind of thing. I'm hoping that maybe I can find something in my old photos. This one here, I'm thinking it's got the word Amor on it. Love you, maybe of my parents' wedding, possibly. So there's a few of those. And then like I said, I had an idea for this, and it only needs 4 photos. So and 4 tiny photos at that, so it should be pretty easy to find something for that. So wish me luck, because you all know how much I love printing photos. And once it's done, we'll come back and I will show you how the pages turned out. Okay, so for this next group, I'm just going to share with you the base page and the photo, and then I'll show you the completed results. We'll flip back and forth. I think I came up with about 12, maybe 13. This is a bonus page I found. This was a base page, and I had the photos already mounted on, but I never finished it. So we're going to finish that, and here's what this one looks like. This was that bonus page where I had already started on previously and just kind of got sidetracked. So in this particular case, I really wanted to play off the colors in the pattern paper. And so I found some of these red circles. And then I also had those yellow buttons that I used on a different layout. So that was front and center. While I was there, I found this yellow tab and this blue circle sticker. And then it was just a matter of filling in with the green dots to tie the theme. These are pretty simplistically embellished, I think. I'm not spending a lot of time on making decisions. It's just whatever works I'm going with. And here's the thing, you guys, I have so many photos to scrap that even coming back and looking at these pages later on, I'm not going to say, oh, if only I had used, you know, this embellishment instead. It's just not going to happen. So I guess that's my tip for you. When you're working on your scrapbook pages, you know, sometimes it's fun to sit there and mull over the decisions, but other times it can be quite crippling, and really, you know, good enough is good enough, okay? And I would encourage you to, you know, just push forward, even if you don't think it's the most perfect solution. It's the perfect solution for the time that you are scrapbooking, and that's all that really matters. For this particular layout, I found this photo of my niece. I like the colors. While there's no turquoise in here per se, or even this kind of orange, the vibrancy of the outfit I think fits the overall nature of this page. And my brother had left a caption basically saying that the 80s were back. And I think, you know, the blend of patterns and the busyness of this really does depict kind of the 80s. So that is that one. This one probably won't need much embellishing, just adding the photo. But you'll see the finished result here right now. There's not much to say about this one other than I just added the photo and just put the 80s are back, because that's the sentiment my brother sent to me in a text message with my niece's name and the date. For this next one, I found a photo of two of my nieces. They are sisters, and it was quite bright. So the one on the left was wearing red, and the one on the right was wearing a royal blue. And I love the photo, and I just thought the colors would be a little bit too much for this layout. So I did print it in a tonal color. It's black and white, but there is a little bit of yellow that I chose to draw out in the editing so that this can then go on here. I think I want to put a little bit of journaling maybe, and I might embellish the title a little bit more than just love. So as I mentioned when I showed you this initially, I didn't think I was going to add a whole lot more to it except for maybe change the title, which I did. I added the word sister, I added my journaling, and the black, I like the black with the layout, but I felt like it needed to be repeated somewhere else other than just in the journaling. So I did do a doodle border. The other option I thought about was to trim this down and mount it on like a black mat or a black and white striped cardstock to make it matte. But I just opted to keep it simple, and that's how this one turned out. This page here was mostly done. I even have the journaling on it. So I did print out 4 photos, which I have cut into hexagons. I'm going to add those on, and this is what the finished page looks like. I don't really have much to say about this one because I really didn't do anything other than mount the 4 photos. It was a little bit tricky to get the sizing right, but once I got that, it was really easy to do with a punch. Okay, you guys, I'll say this every time I think I do base pages. It always amazes me how things work out. So I really like the vibrancy of this layout. I liked the fun embellishments that I had made using some scraps. And I found this photo of my brother and his family, and look at the colors, you guys. Like, really? Could they not be more perfect? Yeah, I'm really happy with this one. So again, not very many changes on this one other than, of course, adding the title, which I did in gold. And to pull the gold in, I found some gold labels, which I added one here, and then I cut one in half and just added a couple pieces tucked behind the flowers just to repeat that motif. I used the one just to document which family it was. And really, I don't have anything else to say. It's just a photo that I just want to document. When I have photos that have a lot of people in them and I don't want to include that in the front side, I will make a note of the names on the back side so that I at least have that referenced. Here's the finished page. This particular layout screamed summer to me, and I had this photo of my sister's kids at the playground. Could I have gone with something a little bit more playground themed? Probably, but I think this will work just fine. And here's how it ended up. I printed in 5x7 as we saw earlier, and then again I just went to the die cut sticker binders. I started with the yellow, and I found this piece here that has the turquoise and the lighter pinks, which I thought was really great. While I was there, I also found this sticker that said Making Memories, and I found this label and this little bird and this bird. And I also found this butterfly. So then it was, what other colors do I need to pull out? So I went looking for some more blue. I found these blue labels. So 3 of those to repeat the pattern. I also found these little blue butterflies in the circles. I only had 2 of them, but that was okay because the butterfly motif is then repeated in all 3. It's not that they have to be like that. It's just one of those kind of things that if you want your clusters to look connected, it's an easy way, almost like cheating, if you repeat the elements. I wanted to have a little bit more of this turquoise teal in there because I found this sentiment that said soaking up all these special moments. So I went and found some puffy hearts. I think these might be Ellie Studios, I think. And then I still needed a title for the page. Well, Making Memories would work. I also like this sentiment in the pink that said Life is Beautiful. So I pulled that one out. While I was there, I saw this pink bow, which I thought was a great compliment. And then the last thing I thought I would pull in was kind of this bluey purple. I didn't have any enamel dots in that exact shade, but I did find these kind of gray blue, which I popped sporadically across the layout. And in this case, I did put the names on the bottom and the date, so there's no need to put anything on the back. So I loved the whimsiness of this particular layout. It's not something that I would have done on my own, especially with this background, but I found a photo of my mom from 1954 with her little doll. This was a black and white photo, so I printed that, and that's just going to tuck in here, I think. The saying says, love you, gathering memories, keep blooming, beautiful one. I'm okay with that in this context. Little moment is okay, you're my sunshine. I mean, she is, but I don't know if that fits so much this particular time frame, right? I was not even a thought to my mother, so not so sure. And then I've got this saying that says, my favorite season is spring. I'm thinking I might just swap that out for something else, maybe allude to the doll that she's holding. I don't know, but you will know in just a second. This is the layout that I was going to add a photo of my mom when she was a child. I did not do much to this layout other than this had reference to spring in here, so I found a saying that said cute, cute, so I really like that. I added her name and date. Now, I put her maiden name in here because, of course, at this time she wasn't married. What do you guys do when you're documenting old photos? Do you reference their maiden name, married name? Do you call her? Like, I was thinking, should I call her mom? I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure how I should handle that. So I just went with what her name was at the time. There was also a round sticker here that said, you are my sunshine, or something like that, which felt a little bit odd for me to use on a layout when she was only 4. I think I mentioned that before. So I found this gray camera, which I think kind of fits the overall vibe and connects back to the photo. So I think that's really cool. Plus we have another camera here, so it's just repeating that motif. I am going to get a 2-page spread in here, and when I was looking through my photos, I figured I was going to find some pictures of my nephews or nieces, and when I came across these ones of my nephew in the park with the yellow, I thought they were perfect. I also love the blue with the color scheme. Blue and yellow just work out really great. There is a little bit of blue in here, not, of course, that royal or navy blue, but a gray blue, which is okay. I had plenty of photos, so here's how this page turned out. So this was another layout that was super easy to put together once I had the photos picked. It just was a matter of laying them all out. I added a little bit of journaling, and I think that's it. I don't think I added anything else anywhere. Easy peasy. I did manage to find some camping photos for this layout. I have 3 photos. They're not great. Like this one here, the people are barely in the photo. Not sure who took the picture. This was back in the film days, but it is what it is. The canoes are featuring quite prevalent in here, and I actually remember this camping trip quite vividly. We did go on a canoe trip. We did follow a creek through I think about 5 different lakes in this area, and I've got a little bit of a story to tell about that trip. So I've got plenty of space to add some journaling and the 3 photos, and I think this will make a great layout. Here you go. For the camping page, I had the 3 photos that kind of were getting lost in the busyness of the top pattern. So I went to those same pre-cut panels, found some in this kind of orangey color. There's actually 2 different types of colors here. And mounted those so that they're framed out, and I think that helps frame them. Again, they're not the best photos in the world, but they are what I have. And while I was going through my die cut sticker binders, I came across this deer. I think this is from one of Maggie Holmes' collections, as well as this rabbit and squirrel sticker. And I thought that would fit really well because on this particular camping trip, we went on a canoe trip. We actually did a little canoeing, and we had seen some deer, and there's a whole story about that. And, and my sister at the time, you know, all she saw was the deer's butt kind of thing. And it's kind of one of those things that stays out or sticks out in your memory after all these years. So even though I actually don't tell that part of the story in here, I know that that's part of the story, and I think that's kind of cool that in this case, the picture tells the words that I'm not telling. I did do my journaling in strips. I could have done it as a block, but I do like that kind of strippy look in scrapbooking. I'm not sure why. I guess it's just something I'm into at the moment. And the last one that I did find a photo for, I really love this color scheme and layout. And I found this picture of my niece wearing a black sweater, which I thought pulled in really great with the black stripes. I also like the gray stone of this picture with the gray that's in the floral pieces. I think this looks really good. And I probably will just put a simple title. I don't have a ton of journaling to do on this, so we'll see. We'll see how it turns out right now. I wasn't sure what direction I wanted to take with this particular layout. Again, this is just a photo of my niece. It has no real connection to me, as in I wasn't there. It's a picture that I downloaded off of social media platforms. And I still want to document it though, because I think in the future, I would love for my niece to have these photos of herself documented. So when I do layouts like this, it's really more things that I wish to convey or say to her, if almost like a letter, if you want to think of it that way, that maybe at some point in the future she will be able to read. I haven't quite decided if I'm going to hold on to these layouts for a while, or if at some point, if I've got enough per niece or nephew to do an album, I might just gift it. We'll see. I like looking at them, and I'm not quite ready to part with them yet. But while I was doing that, I came across this tag that said, wake up every morning with the thought that something wonderful is going to happen. And I thought that was a really, really beautiful sentiment that I would want to convey. I also found this black camera, which I was kind of leaning to black imaging because of the colors in the main paper. I didn't think I would have anything that would match, and really wanted to kind of try and play off the stripe. I think that's kind of the approach I went. While I was there, I found this square frame journal card. Now this is more off-white than white, but I'm okay with that. And it really left enough spot for her name and the date. Then to balance it all out, I found some of these pink flowers, which I think are a pretty close approximation to the pink in the bottom, so I was happy with that. And I also found this word that said happy, and that's kind of where the title went, to be happy. And then I also found these particular labels. So it was kind of one of those things as I was, you know, flipping through my binders, I would come across different different things that I would just pull off and then try to make it into something cohesive. But the idea is a sentiment for her, like a message that I would like to convey, and then this is kind of reinforcing that idea. So I mentioned that these pages here from this Pink Fresh collection kind of gave me a retro vibe, and I thought maybe I would pull out some of my parents' wedding photos. So I did exactly that. Now I had to do some photo corrections on these because the quality of the scans that I had were not great. There were some great big tears across here, and I'm really happy with how this turned out. I'm not an editing expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I think these turned out okay. I'm going to include the original photos here versus the edited just so you can see. Again, not perfect, but I think good enough for what I need. So I had mentioned that I thought I would use this one specifically for the wedding photo because it has the word amour on there. So I thought I would add this photo with my grandparents and my parents. And again, look at how perfect the colors work. My mom's roses on her bouquet were pink. My grandparents were wearing, my grandmothers were wearing some blue, which pulls out this image. So I think that works really great. I'm just going to put their wedding date, I think, and who they are on the little note here. And I'm probably not going to put much else. I had a couple other photos that I combined into one 4x6 that I thought would work on this particular layout. Again, my mom's colors were the light pink, which just works perfectly with this layout. The only thing that I don't love about this is where it says keep blooming beautiful one. Not quite the vibe that I would like for this particular photo. So I'm going to probably switch that up. And other than that, I don't know if there's much else I'm going to change, but you'll see it right now. And that leaves my parents' wedding photos for last. Again, I didn't have to do very much on this particular layout. All of the sentiments that were on here I thought were still, you know, somewhat appropriate. And more, the best day, you know, my favorite, love you. I think that all fits the theme, smile. This one here, you could tell I was getting a little caught up in my head. So I just said Henry and Fanny, which is my parents' wedding, and then December 4th, 1971, and then my grandparents, Van Delden on the right, Tigelaar on the left. So I just referenced which side of the family they were. Elsewhere in my documenting, you know, I will have documented who my grandparents were. So the idea is ideally that people would know, although I might just turn around and add their names on the back just for posterity purposes. And this one I had to do a couple other changes because I did not like this sentiment here. It was something about blooming, which really did not fit the vibe of what was going on here. Also, this particular round chipboard piece had an orange on it, which I could have lived with it, but because I used these floral elements to cover up that sentiment, I had another little piece left over, and so I just covered that up as well. And I think that turned out just fine. I'm really happy with these. It doesn't scream wedding, but it also just kind of fits. I think the fact that they were married in 1970 probably is why. But so those, my friends, are my base pages that I have used up. I think I figured out it was 14 singles and 1 double. So a total of 15 layouts if you want to look at it that way. So that's 15 base pages out of my stash. I'm super thrilled with that. I really did enjoy putting these together. So I think in the future you're going to see some more of this where I just pull some layouts, go find photos, and get them documented. I hope you are inspired and that you've played along with Finish It February. And while the month is over, effectively over, that doesn't mean we can't stop working on our projects. I hope to at least periodically tackle a couple throughout this year. We'll see how it goes, you know, best plans and all that. But I would encourage you guys to look at some of your ongoing projects and try and get them done. It makes you feel great. It's one less thing off your to-do list and makes for overall happy crafting.